Hi everybody, this is Tina with Rehatch Designs. Hope everybody's doing well today. I'm going to be doing a little bit of Halloween stuff, and I kind of already started and I wasn't going to film it, and then I decided, you know what, I will go ahead and bring you guys along, and that way if you're wanting to do something, this might give you some inspiration, some ideas. You know, nothing really new here, but I thought maybe you might want to see what I'm doing or just craft along with me and do what you're doing. Anyway, what I'm doing today is I am going to be using mainly Tim Holtz products, but then some other products along with it, and I'll tell you as much as I can about them as I'm doing them. I want to use some of my Tim Holtz stuff for a Halloween journal, and you know, I'm going to be using some other stuff with it, so that kind of has that same vibe. So I thought I'd show you what I'm doing, and the main reason is I bought all this new stuff and I haven't used all the old stuff, and I was doing my Tim Holtz Tuesday thing, which I think I'm going to start doing something like that again real soon, but I'm just not going to put a day on it. I'm not going to be specific because my schedule can change so much. Just trying to get some of the things done that I'm doing, and I need more, you know, I need the flexibility of just doing it once a week and then not worrying about what day it's on. Anyway, let's get right to it. Let me show you what I've kind of already done and tell you how I did it and what I'm using and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I had made this last year. I had taken some chipboard, and I have this black, it's really kind of cool material. It's kind of textured, and I liked it because it's just not plain black. And this is how the bottom was already frayed, and I just left it on there like that. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it. And so I had done that, and I actually made a 2.5-inch spine to go with this, but I think I'm not going to do that. I think I'm actually going to make a ring journal. I have some rusted or semi-rusted. I didn't over-rust them because I learned that lesson. Anything that has like a hinge or something you bend or whatever, you don't want to over-rust them because then you won't be able to use them. And anyway, so these 3 rings are what I'm going to use, and they're not very big. They're about I would say close. Yeah, they're about 1-inch rings, so they'll hold the amount of papers that I want to put in here. I'm thinking I'm going to put about 25 pieces, so that'll be like 50 sides, because I'm thinking, you know, that's plenty big for like a you know, if you're going to use it for a October daily type thing, so and memories and things like that. But I thought that the ring bound would be better for this, simply because I'm going to be using a lot of Tim Holtz paper in it and some other scrapbook paper that I have. And of course, it's, you know, it's not super thick, but it's thicker, and you can't add that many pages when you're sewing in the signatures. It gets kind of bulky pretty quick. So I think that's part of the reason I'm doing it, and you know, they work well. And the way that I'm going to do it also, you'll see, is kind of a little different. So anyway, what I did already, okay, so I took just regular old chipboard. I don't know if this is super, I don't know what, I had bought this so long ago I couldn't even be able to tell you, but it's just plain old chipboard. You could use a cereal box, but I would probably double it and glue it together as far as the construction of this. And like I said, I just glued on some material. I used my 3-in-1, and on the back side I put some scrapbook paper just to cover it. And let me show you what that is. That is something that I bought, and I had it on a haul not too long ago. And this is all stuff from Ken Oliver. And I have several different kits that I'm using with that. But that one is, let me see if I can find it. I'll show you. It is Hometown Cottage. And I think I have covered bridges here too. And I might use some covered bridges. These are the cut aparts. But as you can see, it has a lot of houses in it and stuff. And that's kind of what I cut out on one of these. So I'm going to be using that. I have no idea if this is still available, but you could certainly maybe look on Amazon or something. It's Ken Oliver. And let's see, Covered Bridges and Hometown Cottage. But anyway, they're really cool, and I thought that they kind of have that same kind of vibe, you know, as the Tim Holtz stuff. And I'm gonna be using these in several projects. I really like them, and they have a Christmas one too that I bought that is similar. It is called Hometown Christmas, and is really cool. So, anyway, so you may want to look into that. And the other thing I'm going to use is I have this that I bought, and I just bought this last year, and it's Ella and Viv Paper Company, and it's Dark Hollow Kit. And these are just 8 by 12 papers. So I thought, well, I might try this and see. I kind of was looking at this too, so I don't know. Having a hard time deciding because they're so much bigger than what the scale that I need, but I still think they're going to work. I'm going to be using one of these, I think, on the cover. So anyway, I just took my chipboard, and this chipboard is, let's see, it is 6 inches by 8.5, I believe. Yeah, about 8.5. So I just cut 2 pieces, glued this material on, and then I put just the scrapbook paper. And the scrapbook paper is 12 by 12, but I just kind of placed it on there to get what the picture part that I wanted. And I did 2 of those. So I did this one too. And then we have this here. Now you see the fringe on there, and all that is, this is that stuff you get from, you know, the dollar store. Well, I don't know what this stuff is called. It's kind of like mummy cloth, but it's really not. It's very, very open weave. It's not really gauze either. Mummy cloth is a little bit more like gauze. And anyway, so, you know, I did basically the same thing I did to this one. This is going to be the back, but this is going to be the front. And I just took my glue and glued some of that on there. And it's just one layer. And I realize you can see the glue and everything, but that's okay because we're going to cover 90% of this. So that's all right. It doesn't matter. I just wanted the fringe hanging off of the side. And I am going to put mummy cloth on here too and everything. But so anyway, I just basically did the same thing, and then I added this stuff on there. And I just took some 3-in-1 glue and put it all over and pressed it down to make sure this was going to stay, and then kind of trimmed it up a little bit. So it's going to hang off the side. So this is our front. So now you're caught up to speed with me. The only other thing that I did is I used some of this frosted crystal, and all this is an embossing powder from Tim Holtz that I really, really love. It has a really unique kind of look to it. So I did some of that on this little paper doll. So I did like 2 coats of that, and it's just basically I took my dauber and I daubed it on there and put it on just like you would any other embossing powder, and then I embossed it, and then I did it another coat, and it kind of dulls down the finish a little bit, but it does make it a little sturdier, and we're going to use this on the cover. So I thought I would show you that because I did do that. Okay, so next thing. I want to go ahead and finish up the cover, and I thought I would show you the rest of that, and that's probably all I'm going to put in this video, because that's probably all we'll have time for. So anyway, I thought we would just do a little craft and chat, and hopefully you guys are having a good afternoon. Taking a little drink of my Diet Coke. I am sitting up in my craft room because my husband is watching football, and I don't really have a lot of interest in it. I mean, I watch it occasionally, but for the most part, I am just having some fun in here. So, all right, so what I have this for, this is a page protector, and I'm going to cut this apart only because we're going to use this. And you don't have to do this, but this is what I'm going to do. And I want to cut it reasonably straight. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight, but the reason I'm doing this is I'm going to use it to help me decide how I'm going to place my piece on there. And I could have done this on the bottom, but I didn't, so I just wanted to show you that this is a cool way to do it. It kind of helps you place when you're using a larger 12 by 12 piece. You know, you want to be able to get the part of it that you want on there, unless it's like a repeating pattern or something. So I am going to take this, and I am going to make it the same size as this panel right here. And again, it does not have to be perfect. I just want to use this to help me figure out. So we're going to do, and I'm just cutting it. Okay, so I know. And then I'm going to do this side. And again, it does not have to be perfect. I just want it to be reasonably the same size, and that way I can tell. And it's obviously not going to be perfect, but that's okay. I can trim it up later if I want to, but I don't think I'm going to mess with that. All I'm trying to do is get a kind of a template. That's really what all it is. And of course you could use any kind of, you could use a vellum even, you could use a transparency, anything. Okay, so that's similar size. And so I'm going to use that to help me decide which paper I want to use and what I'm going to do with it. Okay, let me move all this stuff over to the side so it doesn't fall. So I have this one I was thinking about using, and I'm going to place this on there, and I don't hope you can see where it is. So this is going to kind of tell me, that would look kind of cool, wouldn't it? I think that would. Now, a lot of this is going to be covered up, so I have my other elements that I think I'm going to put on my cover. So I'm kind of going to put them on there. Not all of them, just the big ones, so I know. Like, okay, so if this is my thing, and I don't want to cover up that hawk too much, so I may have to move that over a little bit. Yeah, he's just going to have to be not all the way on there. And this can be off a little bit too. And I do want the moon on there, but I do want enough room. Yeah, I kind of almost have to put that up there because I'm going to put this metal element on the bottom. Let me move this up so you guys can see right here. So I have to have enough room for that. So that can go down a little bit here. And I do want to have the raven show right there. And I'm also accounting for the holes. I'm going to have holes 1, 2, 3, and this will probably go here. And I also have these little bats that I want to go on top, so I have to kind of make room for at least like one bat here and then some smaller ones over there. And maybe I could put this over here a little bit. Something tells me I kind of have to go like that for it to work. Yeah, I think that's going to have to be like that. So that's why this is kind of cool, because it allows you, I really would like to get all of that moon in there. And then this can go down here a little bit. Yeah, I like that better. Okay. All right, I think that's pretty close to where I want it. I just go up a little tiny bit on the moon, I think. Maybe I could go over here more. I don't know. And that's why this helps a lot when you're doing this. So you can get, you know, you can get the part of it in there that you want to do. Yeah, I think that'll work. Except for, I know that this needs to move over a little bit more. Yeah, it's just not going to get as much of that in there as we want. But I do really want the moon in there, and I want some of the branches, so I think we're going to do that. And what I'm going to do is I am just going to keep that where it's at, because that's where we want it. And I'm going to take my pencil, if I can find it, or a pen, it doesn't really matter, because we're going to be cutting this. And I am going to mark up here so I know. And down here. Now my pen decides to quit working right as I'm doing this, so that's probably not good. Okay, so that lets me know where I need to cut, and I'm not overly concerned that it's perfect, because, oh gosh, I can barely see the black mark up there. Well, shoot. Okay. I think my pen didn't work real good. Let me try it again. I'm going to line it up with these two on the bottom, make sure that's what I want. Yeah, I think so. And I'm going to try it again. Right? Yeah, oh, it's still in the same place. Okay, there we go. That's a little better. All right, so now all I'm going to do is I am going to take this in my cutter and I'm going to cut it out, and then we're going to do the next step on that, okay? So this is going to go in my 12 by 12 cutter, because obviously I need it to be that size. I'm going to go ahead and cut off this branding strip so it fits. And then I'm going to go ahead and, let's see, I got to find my line, which is about right here. Go a little bit underneath that. So I'm going to go back up here, right here. So there's the line that I drew. And I really want to go probably a little bit more over here. Hold on. Probably right here, I think would be good. There we go. All right, so that is that piece. And where's my other line here? I have it. So I can see my line. You probably can't see it that well because it's black within the black, but I think we're good. To make sure that that's going to be okay, because I might be cutting too much of him off. That doesn't really make a lot of sense, does it? Oh, okay. Let me try this one on top. Yeah, let me see where that goes. So let's do him here. Yeah, that seems about right. Okay, so that's that piece. And then where's my other piece? My other piece is, and mind you guys, I can see the line. I'm sure you can't, but I can. And I'm going to go here. A little bit more over here, I think. Okay, and then the one on the bottom. All right, so, and I'm going to save these pieces because they're cool, and I don't know, maybe I'll use them later, but so that's what we end up with. Okay, so it would be great if it was smaller scale, but you know what? I think this is going to work just fine. Yeah, that's just fine. So we're covering up most of the black on here, but that's okay because I originally had made this to do something completely different. So I might want to cut this a tiny bit smaller just because I want some of the, I'm going to put some mummy cloth behind here maybe. Maybe I won't. Maybe I won't. Let's see. Let's see here. I might not do that because I think the black really looks good. It pops with that. I was going to take some mummy cloth, and this is by Tim Holtz, and I'm just going to put that under there just to give it another layer. I still could do that and just have it hanging off, you know, just to give it a little bit more depth. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and start this project here that I want to do. What I want to do with that is I am going to kind of dingy this up a little bit. And the reason I want to do this now is I want it dry so that by the time we do the rest of it, we'll get that done and then we'll be able to work on this. Okay, so I have some black gesso here, and I already did this once just to see if it would turn out right. And I am going to just take a little bit of this black gesso, and then I want to take some, I have some opaque grit paste from Tim Holtz, and of course you could use whatever you have. Let's see, where my little, I'm just going to take some with a toothpick because I don't want to, I'm going to put a little water in here too. It's starting to dry out. I do that almost every time I use this stuff because it does dry out really, really quick. So probably going to need more than that, but we'll just start with that. Doesn't take much to make it kind of a grayish color. I did not buy the gray grit paste that they had, only because I figured I could use this. So I don't want to dip that part in again, so I'm going to go ahead and put this in because it's not enough. And I'm going to go ahead and do this and mix it up with the black. And all I'm trying to do is make something that looks kind of old and, you know, that I can add to the this little thing just to kind of grungy it up a little bit is all I'm saying. And then this looks like it'll work. I'm going to put a tiny bit of water in there just to make it a little bit more fluid. And then I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of the black from my brush and mix it in there. Okay. I like that. That's perfect, really. Okay. So then I put the top on this and the top on my gesso. I'm really bad about leaving my stuff open while I'm working. And that is not a good thing to do. I'm going to put some more water in there. I do this just about every time I open these up, and it helps them last longer. And then I put this press and seal on with it, and it does help. And you really shouldn't mix in your cover like this, like I'm doing, but I'm going to rinse it out. So I want this on here. And I'm going to go back in after this and add some brown to all of this, but I don't want to do that until after. I'm going to take some vintage photo, and I just want this a little bit grungier than it comes. You know, it looks pretty new, and you know, that's all I'm doing. I'm grunging it up. Okay, so, and I usually do that like whenever I use like even their windows and stuff like that. I usually add some texture and some grunge, just how, you know, just how we ink things, you know, just if you like it without it, then use it that way. So, and I think it kind of lends itself to a little authenticity if it has like some texture to it. And I'm going to go under here. Now I was thinking about putting some clear crackle on this, but I don't know. I've done it before, and you can't really even see it half the time. So, because the lines are very, very slight on the clear. It looks pretty good on the, you know, on the other stuff, but get some of that off. I don't want too much on there. I still want you to be able to tell what it is, right? Yeah. Okay. So I think that's enough. And this stuff dries pretty quick, so I'm going to let that dry because I don't think I want any, maybe a little bit more on top right here. A little bit more. I want it kind of clumpy, guys. That's my goal. Because I'm going to make it look kind of old and mossy and grungy, okay? So, and it has to have something to stick to. So let's make sure we have some on the inside. Just, you know, just so that we can grungy this up. Okay. I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to put my brush in here. Well, I do want to clean this out. I'm going to clean this out. Just because I don't want it to be inside my little thing there. And I'll probably just take a wipe right here. And I'm going to go ahead and wipe this out a little bit. I don't care if some of it stays in there because it'll dry, but I don't want to mix it with my grip paste or my gesso. So, all right, so that's pretty good. And I have plenty of mixing things, so I could have done that. You know, that would have been, but I was just being lazy. So I'm going to wipe off my hands a little bit. That would be good, just so I don't get it on everything else. This stuff will dry in just a matter of minutes, so we will be ready to go to the next step. And it's not going to be overly in-depth. It's just going to be really pretty quick. All right, so I'm going to put that top on. And that is it there. Okay, so I'm going to put this aside to dry. And I want to grungy this up a little bit, so I am going to take my distressor tool here. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of distress this. And that's part of the reason I didn't cut it down, is because I know that that will, you know, make the size a little bit smaller just by doing this. And I don't know, I think I really do the corners more in a minute. I'm just gonna so I'm going to do that all the way around. And I'm going to do it pretty heavy, so. And there's a part of me that thinks I want to add like some black gesso splatter and stuff like that, but I don't know. We shall see. I think I'm going to wait and see what it looks like when I get to the point where I'm putting it on there. So anyway, all right, see if that's enough, and then I get all the extra little pieces off. I've got like a little file here, and I'm just gonna, that just kind of gets all those little snowball pieces off. I'll get that off a little bit. Just a nail file from the dollar store, which I buy these and use them all the time. I haven't done my nails in a while just because I have been trying really hard to grow them out myself and not working, but they were very unhealthy because I was doing so much stuff for so long, and I just decided, I'm going to give myself a break here. All right, so I kind of like that. I think right here a little bit more. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do, I don't know what I'm going to use. I think I want to use something like, let's see. I think I want to use some ground espresso on this, so we'll try that. I think we'll try that. So all of my distress inks are falling all over the place, so let me move those over here for a minute. They're such a pain. I have them all kind of stacked up over on the side because I was using them so much, and then I was getting to the point where they were all over the place in about 3 different places, and it was driving me nuts. So okay, so I think I'm going to use ground espresso. I could use black soot, but I want it to have a brown look to it, so I might do both. We shall see. And this is a newer thing, so I may have to really work to get it on there, because I just put a new deal on there. Let me see. I've got that refresher. This is a fairly new pad, so it shouldn't really be. And this is just their refresher stuff, and you can use water and mineral oil or whatever else too, but I got that in one of these little pack things, that you get. Oh yeah, I think that's going to be plenty dark. That should be plenty dark. I tend to use ground espresso or black soot or walnut stain when I'm using Tim Holtz stuff, because it's so much kind of grungier. And I'll use vintage photo too some, but it just, it has a different, it's just it takes more of it, seems like, and this is closer to what I'm trying to get. Okay. I really, I use black soot too, but I kind of want this to look more dingy than anything, so that's kind of, all right. So I'm trying to make all the white disappear, from the distressing. That's my goal here. Just kind of make it just look like the ends are not, just newly distressed. All right, so I think that worked pretty good. We're going to be using old paper in a minute, so I'm going to pull that out. Okay. Just leave that there. Okay. So now I'm going to put that on there, but I do think I'm going to use the mummy cloth underneath it, but I want it a little dingier, so I'm going to take some of this. And it's hard to get this now, and I wished I'd have ordered it because I think this is all I have left. So I'm going to get enough to where it can go all the way around. And of course you can use any gauze really. This is, you know, I have other stuff I could use, but so I'm going to take this and I am going to, where's my little plastic thing that I had? I had the rest of it. I'll just use this. This is just some parchment paper. I bought a bunch of these sheets and I use them all the time. Okay, so I'm going to just spray some water on this because we are going to, we're going to mess this up. So I'm going to take a little bit of my just vintage photo. I think I'm going to put that down here first. I don't want a lot. I just want a little. And this is the re-inker. And I'm going to go ahead and make a puddle, which if we have any left over, we'll use this puddle again later. So the reason I wet this first is so that it will move around. And you can wear gloves for this if you want. Most of the time I don't. And I just kind of dip it in. And I kind of roll it around in my hand. And that just distributes the ink. It doesn't do it evenly, but that's okay. And then we're going to end up with that. So that's kind of what I wanted. Alright, so we have a little bit left over. I am going to use this on our little cover as soon as it dries, and it's almost dry already. So in a couple minutes we'll use that. But in the meantime, I kind of want to get this on here. So what I think I'm going to do is I will dry this quickly with my heat gun, not too close, just dry it really quick, and make sure our other pieces dry, and so then we'll get back to the next part. Okay, so I got that dry and I got this dry. So what I'm going to do at this really quick is I'm going to do this first because I want it to dry before we go to the next step. So I'm taking my vintage photo that we had watered down because I have a little extra, and I did it that way on purpose, and I'm going to go ahead and grunge up with my grip paste up here. I'm going to go ahead and make it look a little bit just like old, you know, not brand new stucco or whatever. Go all the way across, and I'm just going to let it sink in, and it'll dry lighter. And also too, you can always take a little wipe or something and just kind of dab it, and that's what I'm going to do as I go. I just kind of cover it and dab it, and that's kind of what I'm doing. And I'm just going to kind of do that, and then probably go back in on all of it, just because I don't want it to look super brand new, I guess, is the thing that I'm trying to avoid. And it will absorb because it's porous. So anyway, I did the wrong thing. That's okay. That was we want it grungy anyway, right? I picked up my mummy cloth, but that's okay. Anyway, this is easy to do. I just think it really makes a difference in the overall look when you're trying to grunge stuff up. If you add just some little extras in there to get it to the, you know, get it to the finish line. So this is really super easy. So all right, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now, the other thing that I wanted to do with this is I want to go ahead and this is old paper. Old paper has kind of a greenish tint to it. So I am going to take my brush here, and I don't care if I contaminate this a little bit. It's not going to matter. And I'm just going to add a little of that in here, little spots, just little, and this is going to go on a little bit stronger because it's not diluted. And I don't even know if you'll really be able to tell. I might actually do something else too, a little bit greener. We'll see. I think, yeah, it's not showing up enough green. So I think what I'm going to do, yeah, I mean, it looks more brown and it has a brownish, greenish tint to it. But I really want it to look a little bit more green. So let me get my other colors out here, which I have quite a few. Let me try some Shabby Shutters, which is very green. And I'm going to dip that in the water a little bit. You can see that color. And I'm going to take some of it. And this is Oxide, Shabby Shutters Oxide. And I'm just going to take that and put that in a few spots, just so you can really see the green. Just so that you can see the green on there. Yeah. And I think I might mix it with even with another color too. And you know, obviously guys, this is probably taking it to a different level, but my idea is to make it look like it's kind of mossy. Right? Put a little bit more of that in there. Okay, that might be enough. I don't know. Okay, good. All right, let me do that a little bit. And again, it'll dry lighter than what that is. So I don't want it to be, you know, all green. I want it to be a mixture. All right, I think that's pretty good. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to take this, get rid of that, I don't need it. I've got that done. I'm going to set that off the side because it's going to dry pretty quickly. And what I want to do here is this is a Tim Holtz, and I think this was from the 2022 packet. I don't remember. We're going to be using this in the inside that frame, and I know it's shorter than what we need, but that's okay because it's going to be covered with some other things. So we're going to be using that, but I also have these little flowers that I want to use, and I'm going to go ahead and put some of this, where did it go? This frosted crystal on that, because I like the way it looks, and it also kind of protects them. So let me get another piece of this out. So I go ahead, and these are the two pieces I picked out, and I believe this is in the 2023 one of the little ephemera packs. I don't know which one. I took everything out and I looked at them all, so that's why I'm having to do it from memory, because I cannot remember which one things go in each. So that's part of the problem. Let me get my, well, I'll get that in a minute. Okay, I'm probably going to end up doing 2 coats on this, so there's usually, I miss spots always, so, and I'm just using my dauber to do that. Okay. And then I just open up here. It's best to leave this down if you're going to use it again. open that up, put that in the middle. And honestly, guys, you may not see it on camera, but it does make, I just like the finish. Okay, and these kind of have a, already have kind of like a, I don't know, an old rose kind of spooky look to them. So I guess I don't need to put the cover on there. And I'm going to take that off, put it aside, take that off. Looks like I covered it pretty good, but like I said, I'm going to do a couple of coats. So, and do that, and I will go ahead and heat these up. And I usually just take my tweezers and hold it, and then do that. Okay, so I ended up just putting one coat on because I thought that was good. It covered up pretty good. And you may not even be able to tell the difference, but it kind of dulls down the really shiny and makes it kind of a, I don't know how to explain it. It's not the same as just clear. Clear would make it really shiny, or this kind of dulls it down. I like to use it for like anything that looks like it's in a window or something like that too. Which brings me to this. What I'm going to do with this is I am not going to do the frosted crystal, only because it's going to be covered up with these transparencies that came in the 2023. So, you know, there's no really reason to do that. So anyway, I'm going to take our little thingy here, and I have to decide on both this transparency and on the picture. So the way this is going to work is this is going to go on top of here. Okay. And I want some of these arched doors in there, because they actually are, it looks like they're the same as this. That's probably very similar. So I want to make it look like this arch is part of that. And I know we have a big gap down there, but that's okay because it's going to be covered up. So I think I want to kind of go more like this. No, more like this probably. Let's go, and I want to make sure I have it on the top, maybe down. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. So what I want to do, I'll probably just tape that, or maybe I'll just go ahead and glue it, and then I can cut around it. I'm going to go ahead and use my art glitter glue and see if I can get that to stay down. Oh, you know what? I forgot. I've got to put my transparency in there with it. Darn it. Completely forgot about that. Completely forgot about it. Okay, so this has 2 holes there, and I think I'm going to end up doing it like that, because a lot of it's going to be covered up. Let me see. So I'm going to have to decide all this. So it's supposed to look like a broken window. And I don't think we're going to get it all in there. We're going to have to probably go like that. I think I'm going to do that first, and then I will be able to do the rest. So I'm going to take my, I can't tell which side is the right side or the wrong side on this. I don't know. I don't think it really matters. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take my 3-in-1 glue for that. I'm going to take it and go around the edges. So that it will stick, but not too close to the middle, because I do not want it to seep in there, you know. I don't want this part to go and show up on there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and spread that out a little. All right, let's try that again. Like I said, I really cannot tell which side is I'm wanting to get the most cracking and bang for my buck out of this, so maybe I'll go the other way. Let's see. No, then I think it'll be too low. So let's go like that. I hope y'all can see some of this, because yeah, I think that'll be good right there. Maybe go up a little bit more. Yeah, that should work. Go over this way. There, okay. So I'm just going to push that down, and we're just going to have to live with that, because I don't really want to move it around, because then it'll get that the glue in other spots, and I don't want that. So I'm going to do that. Looks like it moved a little bit down here, so I'm going to have to take that glue off before it dries, hopefully. So now I'm going to take this picture, and that is going to go in here. Now I can put that where I want it. So that is going to go, yeah, that's perfect. I think it turned out good. Okay, I'm trying to get as much of this in as I can, and I kind of want that little thing in the middle. So now I'm going to put some 3-in-1 glue around here, and hopefully I will get that in there. Let's do, again, I'm trying not to get it too close, and that is like right here. I'm not putting anything on the bottom, because that would get in on the acetate. So I kind of know where I want to line it up. Let's see if I can do that. And right at the top. There we go. I think that is absolutely perfect. Okay, so I am going to let this one sit a minute, because then that way when I cut it, it won't come off, because that's what happened with the acetate. It wasn't dry, it was moving. So, you know, it's what happens when you try and do stuff that's, you know, real time. And then these are going to go here, so that's why you're not going to see the bottom. And then there's going to be one over here as well. So that's what's going to happen. Okay, and then the rest we're going to cut out. So now what I want to do while that is drying, I'm going to put that aside. I'm going to go ahead and put my mummy cloth around here. And what I'm going to do with that, I'm going to use my 3-in-1, and I am just going to go around the outside of our piece that we have. And I'm going to go ahead and put that, and it's just another layer. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I got to thin this out. It's getting kind of clumpy and thick. So I'm just going around the sides, because it's just going to be sticking out the side. Okay. And let's do that. And I'm just going to go just like this and go all the way around. So it's going to stick there. I don't think I'm going to bother cutting it. I think I can make this go around like that, right? So, and I'm going to mess with it after it's twisted, so I'm going to try and untwist it. Go like that. And do that. Untwist it. Oh, it looks like we need more glue there. There's no glue. Yeah, this is getting really thick. I do need to put more acetone in that to thin it out, but tell you one thing, that glue is certainly getting expensive, but I bought it in bulk, and it really bothered me to do it because it was like a ton, but it was almost $5 cheaper per bottle, so you couldn't pass that up. And I don't think I'm going to stop using it anytime soon, so I think I bought a case, and which, you know, honestly, I'll go through it pretty quick. I bet I go through half of it by Christmas, you know. Okay, and of course you can cut those corners to make them more malleable if you want, because it's going to have that shredded kind of look to it. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and just have a little piece left over, and I bet we use it somewhere else in this journal, so I'm not too worried about it. But that mummy cloth is quite precious now because you can't find it. But like I said, you can use any gauze, will give you a similar effect. And there's different kinds. There's, you know, with different weaves or whatever. And so, okay. So I'm just going to do that. And this I'm going to cut. Okay, so that's kind of what we've done. Make sure that's kind of down. I'm feeling good about that. This needs to be cut a little bit more. All right, so now what we're going to do is, I think this is dry enough, so we're going to go ahead and cut around that just in here so that we can start putting stuff on our journal, because we're going to running out of time, guys. We got to get something done here. So I am going to go up like that and make sure I get enough of this off that you cannot see it on the other side, right? And I also don't want to take off the glued part, so I'm just haphazardly cutting it. It doesn't really matter because that's what you're going to have when you're done. So now this is going to go on there, and I am going to go ahead and mount this piece first and then put it on. So we'll do it that way. So we are going to go ahead and put this over here, and I got to make sure I do this. Yeah, I almost had this upside down before I was using it, so when you open it up, it's not upside down. Okay, so that's going to go there. And like I said, I'm going to shred that more and stuff, but I don't want to mess with it too much right now because it is you know, not dry yet. So we'll do that. So that is going to go on there. So I am going to use my 3-in-1 glue for that to make sure. I just think it's a little bit stronger. So even though it's really thick, it's going to be hard to do, but I definitely need to make sure I deal with this after this video is over with. I have some more next to me I could use, but I'm not going to mess with getting it out and opening it and all that kind of stuff. And as I said, this stuff, and you could use hot glue, would work really well for this too, I think. But I like the fact that this gives you a little bit more time, especially when you're trying to maneuver it and get it in the right spot. Hot glue is pretty much where you put it, it has to stay. And, you know, I do use it on some things, but I just honestly prefer to have a little bit more time. And I want more in the middle so it stays on really good. I don't want the ends coming off. Okay. And this is just a way to use some of the paper too that I have. I have so much of it that I'm not using, and I really want to somehow, again, and I always start at the bottom, and it's hard to tell on this, but I work from the bottom up. So I'm going to put this and get it on there straight on the bottom, which is really kind of hard to do on this because you can't really see it. Let me make sure that's right. It looks good. It looks good. Okay, so we're good there. And it should probably line up pretty good on top. And it does. There we go. I think that's good. Good, good, good. Okay, so I think we're good. And we're going to go ahead and smush it down. And make sure it's all down there good. And get your bone folder or something else and kind of go over the edges to make sure they're making good contact. Right? I'm going to do that. And you know, it's a shame because I covered up all that material, but that's okay. That's all right. It gives it kind of a cushiony feel to it. So, and we're going to make sure all those end pieces are down there good. Looks like we need a little bit more glue in that corner. So I'm going to have to put some glue there. And of course you can always go back in, guys, and add where you need it, because it's not, the stuff we're putting on top is not going to be all the way to the edge. So, and I like to make sure the edges are in. I'll put clips on there, so I'm putting a little extra glue, you know, especially on the side that you're going to be opening and closing all the time. So, you know, you got a lot of layers on here, but I usually do on almost all my journals, no matter what they are, because by the time I figure out what I'm going to do, I've added, you know, 6 layers or something. So I'm going to put these on the corners so it gives it some pressure. These little plastic clips, I got them on Amazon. I absolutely love them. I use them all the time. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. And that will give it a little bit of, did I put glue on there? I did. Okay, good. And then after that's all dry, I will pull some of this gauze so you can see more of the black behind it. But right now I'm not going to mess with it. So, okay, so next step that I'm going to do is we are going to start putting this in place. So we're going to put everything kind of where we think we want it, so that we can, yeah, I think I want more of the moon to show, and I'm going to put this right at the bottom. Yeah, I think that's perfect. I think that little plastic thing that I did, it really helps a lot, instead of just eyeballing it. So, okay, so our little lady is going to go on here like that. And I think I have her off to the side a little bit because I want you to see the mansion, because it's not all about her. And then this is going to go down here. It might have been the other one. I don't remember. I had them all placed earlier. Yeah, I think this one might go down here. And see how it covers up that whole bottom part, so it doesn't even really matter. Right? And then this goes right up here. Yeah, that's how it went. I had this kind of hanging to where it goes over the side a little bit. Yeah, that's it right there. Okay, so the bats, I think I lost some of my bats. I may have to go, they're so tiny. The little teeny tiny ones I lost. I'm going to have to find them. Found one, but I think, oh, there's another one. Well, I don't remember how many I had. But these are little bats in his new packet that he has now. You can barely see that moon. Well, shoot. I can only go down so far. Like, how about if I do that? Does that look okay to you guys? Somebody help me. And that bat's going to go there. We'll have another bat. Kind of going. Maybe they all are. I don't know. And then we have another one that goes over here. Okay. And then she's going to go down there. So I'm placing everything so that I can glue the first part down. And you take it all off, you put it back on, and that's how it's going to be. And I actually think that works pretty good. Okay, so I am going to take the top pieces off. And I'm going to glue that right there. I have to hold it. The bats kind of don't matter, so I will put them over here. If I put them on this black thing, I think that's how come I lost them before. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So again, I'm going to use my 3-in-1 glue, because that is my preferred glue. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and, let's see if I can, a tiny little mark there and a tiny little mark here. All right. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and put the glue on. And this is going to be a chore because this glue is getting kind of, you know what? I think what I'll do, I have one more in here that is open. Let me check it out. Yeah, I think this one's open. Let's try that. I must have left this open or something, but that's okay. It gets like that, and you just get some acetone and put it in there, and then let's see if this one's better. It might be. Yeah, it's a little better. Plus it's coming out a little bit better. So now I've got to be really careful on the bottom because it's kind of thin down there. So I'm going to just do a very, I might even just take the stuff from my finger on there because I don't want it to get all over the acetate. But I do want enough on there that this stays on, right? All right, so now I'm going to go like that. And, all right. So now I've got my little lines down here so I can kind of tell where I want them. You probably cannot see these lines, okay, guys? But I can see them. I'm going to do that. There's a little glue seeping out from the bottom there. And I've got my, where's my little, I have a little, where did it go? Here it is. This little silicone thing, and I use this all the time. And I got it a while back, a whole bunch of them together. And it's great for stuff like that because you can just see how the glue just comes right up. Get that off. And of course, you know, you can erase any extra glue that you have. But I like using this. So, yeah. Okay. Get that off right there. I'm going to get that off real quick before it dries. And this helps get it off too, guys. Now I know you can use those little erasers, but I'm telling you, this thing works good too. And then that way you don't have any extra glue sitting around. Okay, I like that. I think it did good. Okay, so I'm assuming my ends are good. I don't know if this will fit all the way. It's not gonna, definitely not gonna fit on the other side. I know that. I don't think. Maybe a little bit. Let's see. I have longer clips, so. Okay, there's a little glue right there. I did probably put it on too thick. But I do want it to stay on, so. Get it all off before it dries. That's the key. And you don't want to mess up your paper underneath. That's the big thing. Okay, and then I'll put this on. So I want this to stay, so I'm going to go ahead and just leave these clips on for a little bit. I might be able to put one there. Let's see. Looks like I can fit one there. I know one won't fit on top, but that's okay because I think we got enough of it held down. So that is where that's going to go. Okay, then I can start placing all of this on there as soon as I feel that's dry. In the meantime, I can go ahead and put my bats on there. So I'm going to put that bat back over here, you know, and then let's see, I have one that's a little bit bigger. It's going to go, I mean smaller. It's going to go, I want it kind of like it's turning toward the moon. I think they had multiple sizes in that pack, but I don't know. I'm going to go like that. I think that's good. I think that's good. And then, where's my glue? Okay. I'm going to use the 3-in-1 again because this is acetate and I don't think that my other glue will work. And I kind of want to just, I'm going to put a tiny bit on there because I don't want it spilling out the side. Okay, let's see. Now I got to remember where he's going. He's kind of in the corner, isn't he? And I got a little bit of glue right there because I moved him, not because I put too much. And then I'm going to put this one on. So anyway, I thought when I did this, I thought, well, I didn't really have the background I wanted. I originally, when I covered this in black, I did it for a completely different type of journal last year that I was going to do, and I ended up doing a different journal. Go more like that. And then this one. Okay. And so anyway, so covering up the black is just, that's okay. The back looks good. Plus, if there's any showing, you'll be able to see the black underneath. So that's good. Sometimes when you do layers, you end up covering your first layer that you started, and it's like, well, okay. Right? But that's all right. That's how it works. All right, so I'm good with the bats. So, I don't know. I really kind of want to kind of see how these are going to go. Now I forget which one goes where. I think this one goes here. I don't remember. No, that has to go there. And then this, she goes kind of over here. Yeah, because this goes... This covers the bottom, but I think it went like that. I think I did it like that. I think I did. Pretty sure I did. Yeah, I think I did. So anyway, that's how it goes, and I'm going to go ahead and let this dry, and we'll come back and we'll go ahead and glue all that on, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about putting the rings in and the rest of the paper. Okay, so I'll be right back.